Okay, with that in mind, let me welcome all of you on YouTube. Very nice to be with you today. We have a handout, and I'm going to hold it nice and high so everyone can see it. But let's begin, first of all, with our teaching. It's been a great joy, truly, over the past several months to be able to see the progress that I think all of us are making as a group. It's nice to make personal progress, but it's also nice to see progress that groups are making. So I'd like to cite a few examples before we begin the actual teaching. First, I know that many of you have noticed a change in your own self. I know that you're calmer. I know that you're stronger. And there's a sense of goodness, I think, about yourself, maybe a sense of confidence, happiness, whatever it might be. But what is really interesting is many of you have said that many people in the hardest place in the world, namely in your families, have also noticed a difference. It's not just that you have noticed a difference in your own self, but it's really wonderful to see that families have noticed the changes within you. I just think that's a wonderful thing, that we have changed and we are assisting others to change simply by being who we are. The second thing I'd like to mention is the fact that we concluded our Fifth Sunday seminar series last weekend, and the notion of creating your own future. And what's been very interesting is that for many of us now, I think, we really are creating our own futures. Rather than waiting for our future to come to us, I think we are taking charge of that future. And that's going to be kind of the basis of what I want to share with you here this morning. My presumption is that those of you who are able to attend last Sunday, perhaps some things have already begun to manifest for you. I don't know if they have or not. I just know that they have for me. So that if you recall that little saying, the higher the energy, the greater the clarity, and the quicker the response. And I really find that to be truly occurring. The higher the energy we have, then the greater the clarity or the vision, and then the quicker the response where these things come into play. So that was a pretty interesting thing as well. And then thirdly, from last month's teaching, which was entitled Tithing to Yourself, perhaps maybe you recall me talking about Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and particularly the very last teaching in his 7 habits, namely, very important to sharpen your sword. Sharpen your soul. So I should say sharpen your saw. And one of the things that many of us, I think, have been able to do is the saw that we are sharpening is not simply our personality self, but the saw that we're really sharpening is our soul self. And that's pretty interesting, to be able to sharpen that soul, which is the center of our growth. So with these few examples, what I really want to share with you is that things are changing, and what I'd like to suggest is that this month's teaching, namely falling in love with your future, falling in love with your future, is a very important theme for each one of us. So let's begin. Do you remember those moments of falling in love? How excited you were about that person? How the only one you could think about was that person. And certainly each one of us have gone through those experiences in life. Well, the thought came to me, what if you had the same feeling of excitement about your future? Excitement about your future. And not just in a sense falling in love as a limited human, but rather learning to rise in love as a wonderful soul. To rise in love as a wonderful soul. So let me suggest the following, and what I want to share with you is how I have found myself falling in love with my future. Hopefully this will make some sense to you. You might recall that when I referred back to Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, in last month's teaching, it was the second habit. It was the second effective habit that has had the greatest impact for me. And perhaps you might recall, Covey said, a highly effective person creates a personal mission statement. A personal mission statement that reflects their deepest values. Well, I just want to tell you, I've really followed that since 1988. What I've done on a regular basis is I've developed my personal mission statement that would help me to be as effective as I possibly could in life. But what I noticed was when I was developing those particular things, especially Covey's idea, what I really felt was most of my effectiveness in the future dealt with my human personality. And that was a very interesting observation. It was a suggestion by Jim Self that really got me thinking. Jim Self, in his book Mastering Alchemy, suggested that you make yourself, your soul self, the future of your personal mission statement. I just want to say, that really got me thinking. Making your soul self as the focus of your personal mission statement. Not just your human personality, but to have your soul self as the focus of your personal mission statement. Well, what I decided to do was to do precisely that. So what I decided to do was I would make a list of intentions from my soul center. So let me just begin by saying that was quite a shift. In fact, even before I made the list, I felt something was occurring within me. I was to make a mission statement from my truest sense of self. Now that to me was exciting. That was just really exciting. There was something about this that was like falling in love. Just want to tell you that. Not from the past, but falling in love for the future. And while in a sense it had the excitement of falling in love, it was much more than that. It was kind of like being in love with your future. Being in love with your future that I could create. That was pretty interesting to me. Being in love with my future that I could create. So this is what I did. First, I decided to make a list of my intentions for my future from my soul self. I decided to make a list of intentions for my future, but from my soul self. But then I quickly changed the word intentions to the word possibilities. That felt better. That just felt right. It was kind of more exciting. I knew that I could make my future from my soul self, and I wanted to do it. In fact, not only did I want to do it, but I was ready to do it. I was ready to create from my soul self. I know that life always has changes, but it was exciting to be able to feel those changes from within myself. It was exciting in a sense, not just to do the same old, but now to expand into new possibilities. But here was the big point. Here was the big point that really got me excited. To expand into greater possibilities from the wisdom that I have experienced over the years. Did you ever say to yourself, well, I wish I knew now, or I wish I knew then what I know now? Well, you do. You do. We know now. We know now. We know from the past. And that to me was the exciting thing, to expand possibilities from the smarts you have acquired. Now, isn't that exciting to be able to expand from your soul self, from the intelligence, the smarts that you've acquired over the years? Not doing the same old, but to expand possibilities from the wisdom that you have acquired. When I thought to myself, we've all been around the block a few times, and it's wonderful to have done that so that we can expand into the future from the soul self, having had all of the wisdom of the past to sustain us in going forward. That to me was interesting. So these new possibilities, this was very, very exciting. So I made a list, and I didn't have to be told twice. I made the list, and I've added to it over the past 2 months. And I have now 15 possibilities on my list. Here's my list. Just want to tell you, this is my list over here. So I'll read parts of what's on my list. I know you were saying that. Okay. So this is part of what's on the list. These are things that are important to me. First of all, that no negative thought is able to control me. That's just one of those things. No negative thought is able to control me. Every meeting I go to is a very important meeting to share in the awareness. Very, very important. I want to be comfortable in my body. I know what that means to me. I am totally capable of creating my reality into the future. I am totally capable of transforming my physical body into a light body. Well, it's pretty interesting, pretty fun. I am ready to listen to my intuitions. I will always be pleased with myself rather than being worrisome. No second guessing. Well, that's about 9 or 10 of them. The point I want to make is those are the things that I felt from my soul. These are the things that I most wanted to bring forth. Let me go on and then we'll get to you in just a moment. Well, I made the list. Now what? So let me tell you what the list did for me. The first thing is it gave me a clear direction. I said yes, not to the dress, but yes to the list. Just said yes to the list. Yes, these are my desires for new possibilities from my soul self. And then I committed the list to be actually written out. I knew that it would not be good just to have a vague mental list, but I decided to sit down and write out my list of possibilities. Well, this was exciting for me just to do this for 2 reasons. First of all, I began to feel that, gee, once I accomplished this list, I realized how good I would feel. I really became excited because, well, I knew I would do them, and because I would do them, then this would really be something that would make me feel even much better. And then I just kind of said to myself, well, Vince, why would you not want to be your best self from your soul self? Why would you not want to be the best from the best that is within you? Now that makes sense to me. Why would we not want to be the best from the best that we have? And then secondly, my excitement in a sense was not short-lived by any means, but I did realize that I would be challenged to change the possibilities into facts of daily experience. And that was kind of neat. I think I was ready to meet the possibilities of my future. At first I said, well, I'm ready to make these changes, but something occurred. Something occurred within me that was very, very interesting. I know I can share it with you, and I think you'll feel the same. When I said to myself, some things have to change in order for me to make these differences in my life, to assume these new possibilities, there was something within me that said, your soul wants you to make them. That was interesting. It was not forced. It was not like, well, you got to do it, or you should do it. But it was rather, your soul is looking to bring forth this goodness within you. It wants to bring these things into manifestation. So you begin to see how you kind of start falling in love with your soul. I'll just say it again. You begin to fall in love from your soul center, because it is your soul self that is really the best and deepest part of you, that is moving the personality self forward. So I wanted to see, in a sense, how these new possibilities, in a sense, could become and raise the quality of my everyday living. Now, as you well know, to be able to do these things just becomes absolutely enjoyable. Good morning, sir. Welcome aboard. Did you think you were going to just sneak in over here with us, right? Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not.
I wasn't successful.
Yeah, yes.
Good morning, all. I apologize for my lateness.
Not at all. A joy to have you. An absolute joy to have you.
Thank you.
So what I would want to suggest to you is that I was very happy to fall in love with my future because I have created a mission statement for my soul center. And I can readily attest that the quality of my life has risen over the past 2 months. I hope that maybe some of you noticed, but maybe you didn't. I don't know if you did or not. Or maybe you would say, oh, you always had a good quality of life. Maybe something like that. But I just know that as I began to manifest these qualities, the content of my life changed. And I'm really not so much worried about what other people think. I just know that I have become better because I'm realizing the possibilities of my soul center. I think I can honestly say I have fallen in love with my future. I've fallen in love with my future from my soul center. Which now brings me to you. In talking to you, I always kind of felt that there was a psychologist, his name was Carl Rogers, and Carl Rogers said, I always remember this particular phrase. Can't remember too much more about him, but I remember this particular phrase. He said, when I speak most individually, I speak most universally. When I speak most individually, I speak most universally, which means that when I see certain things going on in me, I just usually presume they're going on in you as well. That each one of us, as we rise in consciousness, are moving in a steady upward stream, and what I might be feeling, the same others might be feeling as well. So I just presume, in a sense, that we're all pretty much the same, in the sense that each one of us wants to be our best selves. We just really want to be our best selves from the inside out. And I know that each one of us, in a sense, wants to be our best self from our soul-centeredness. Not just being a nice person, nice guy, nice woman, nice personality, but to really be good from our soul centers. What so many times happens is that we have a tendency to get bogged down in our worldly stuff. And we need every once in a while to take a redirection in our lives. Perhaps maybe you need to make a list of things that you might want to entertain as possibilities. Perhaps maybe we all need more direction in our life. Or perhaps in order for us to become better, we know that as we become better, we can assist other people to become better as well. Well, perhaps you too want to fall in love with your future from your soul. Presuming that might be the case, I've designed a little handout for you. So, I knew you knew I was going to do this. So, just want to share this little handout with you. John, if you pass those back on that side. Joanne, if you would on this side over here. And I think you'll enjoy this particular handout. It's just kind of a neat little thing, and we try to make it as fun as we possibly could. So what I want to suggest to you, when you read, in a sense, the presentation at the very beginning at the top of the page, it just says, falling in love with your future. So what I'm going to suggest is that you just kind of follow these down. These are my new possibilities from my soul self. These are my new possibilities from my soul self. So I've got to make sure, Bob, you have one as well. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, not to be. You can share them afterwards, but yeah. So these are my new possibilities from my soul self. So what I would just want to suggest is that we're not going to do it now, but when you go home, maybe later on today, this might be something that you really want to do. You want to, in a sense, see the new possibilities from your soul self. And I just suggested those 5 there. You may have more, whatever it might be. And then number 2, now just think how you'll feel as you fulfill them. So we had Nisi doing her emojis over there with all of the different things, and you might be dancing, the sun might be shining, you might be zooming around, whatever it might be, the music. But you really will feel better when you manifest your soul self. And then thirdly, now, why wouldn't you do them? Why wouldn't you do the things to just make the possibilities of your soul even better? It's not just the best thing you do for yourself. It's just the best thing you do for everyone. It's just not the best thing you do only for yourself, but it's really the best thing you're able to do for everyone. And I just want to give you my encouragement. Now, with that in mind, and I'll just encourage you to do this, I'm not going to check and see if you made a list when you go home later on today, but I'll know. But if you turn the sheet over, there's something on the back side that is very, very interesting. So I want to tell you what I have done over the past several weeks, and I think it becomes just very, very helpful. You'll see where it says, you and the source, the vital connection. You and the source, the vital connection. So I'm just going to suggest this to you, and perhaps you can use this as a further reflection for yourself here today. Number 1, all energy comes from a universal source. No matter what's going on in the physical world, the non-physical world, all comes from one source. Number 2, this universal energy surrounds and penetrates all of its forms, both physical and non-physical. Obviously, it surrounds and is within each one of us. So number 3 is really the key. As a conscious expression of the source energy, as a conscious expression of the soul energy that we are, you are able to receive and extend this energy. We receive it, we can extend it. So this is what I do each day. Doesn't mean you have to do it. I'm just telling you this is what I do. Number 4, thus each day receive this universal energy for 15 minutes to increase the quality and intentions of your consciousness. And remember, the higher the energy, the greater the clarity, and the quicker the response. This was our weekend retreat from last week. The higher the energy, the greater the clarity, the quicker the response. And then extend this energy for 15 minutes to raise the consciousness of the planet in ways that you see fit, within your families, with friends, in general, whatever it might be. I can only suggest to you that as I've been doing these things over the past couple of months and focusing on soul-centeredness rather than simply personality, and spending the time to focus on the intentions or the possibilities of this energy from within me, and then extending it externally wherever I saw fit, I would just want to suggest that the quality of my life has changed, and I suggest perhaps the same might be for you if, when we think individually, we most think universally. And I think that's the truth. So with that in mind, I just want to conclude by saying that falling in love, it's still the neatest thing in the world. But falling in love with your soul. And when you fall in love with your soul and create these new possibilities, it's not so much in a sense you're just creating new possibilities, but always remember, You're creating your new possibilities from the wisdom of the past and from the presence that is within you. So it's not so much that we'll be falling in love as we will be rising in love. And might I suggest, it's not just doing it individually, but we're learning to do this as a group. Rising in love as a group from our soul-centeredness is part of the universal energy manifesting brilliantly here on the earth plane as us. So that's the substance of the teaching I wanted to share with you this morning. This has been fun. This has just been fun. Just a joy to share this with you. So let's move into our meditation. Let us now begin our meditation by setting the intention. This is really pretty cool. Focusing on the possibilities from your soul, from the truest sense of what you have, utilizing all of the wisdom of the past as you continue to create a beautiful future. Please hold that intention. And let us now begin our meditation today by simply focusing on the breath as we are wont to do. Just a nice focusing, breathing in and breathing out, and I'll come to guide you. But again, don't be lackadaisical. Focus on it. Feel the breath coming in. Feel the breath going out. Focus on it. Allow the thoughts to eventually release themselves and bring your soul to the fore. Please begin. And just to assist with your meditation, when you inhale, just say to yourself the word in. When you exhale, the word out. It'll help you to stay focused. Again, feel the rhythm of the breath, in and out. Nothing forced, but focused. Please continue. Let me now give you another set of guide words. On the in-breath, just say to yourself the word calm. On the out-breath, the word flow. Breathe in calm, exhale flow. And feel the energy, feel the calmness coming into you, and feel the calmness flowing out of you. Feel the energy of calm flow. Focus. Nothing forced, but focused. Please continue. And would you just begin to notice how good you feel? Doesn't take us too long to get to that place, that presence within us. Just to amplify it, let me now ask that you simply place your hand over your heart-lung area. And as you inhale, just feel the breath expanding the lungs. When you exhale, feel the lungs deflating. Be attentive. The movement is subtle but clear. Feel the breath coming into you and going out of you. Focus. Please continue. Now what I ask you to do is keep your hand over your heart-lung and just focus on the consciousness you have from your heart-lung area. This is your soul center. It's the fourth chakra. It's your soul center. Now, I want you to notice something very important. You're not thinking from your mind, but you are conscious from your heart. I'll say it again. You're not thinking from your mind, from your head, but rather you are conscious, clearly alert from your heart center, your soul center. Do you understand that this is what we mean by your soul center? Not your head center. You may put your hand back on your lap, but will you clearly distinguish the difference between your head center of thought and your soul center of consciousness? Do you clearly see the difference between your soul center and your head personality? Now, honestly, isn't it exciting to think about what you're going to create? It could be anything from what you're going to make from dinner today, or the spirit you're in when you make dinner. Or something personal, something involving others. Today, would you take the time to develop the possibilities of your soul center? And let me now add, would you take the time to develop the possibilities from your soul center so that you might fall in love with your future? As I said those words, did you not just get a surge in energy? This is exciting. Your soul is expanding. And as a group, not only here in Youngstown, but throughout the places that we visit with Now Creations, may we continue to encourage each other to do the same, to expand from the soul. This is the fun part. It's the always new. Let's help each other as a group, encouraging each other. And then may you clearly see what a blessing you are in the lives of all others. We've changed. We've evolved. Well, let's try to have a good group experience. Let us close our meditation by just bringing our attention back here into the room and allow the energy just to swirl around everyone. Allow our energy to embrace everyone here. Whether you know them or not, just allow the energy to come in and say, I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and let's help each other. And then would you bring that energy within your physicality, just filling every part of you from head to toe, and just a little tingle here and there, a rise, whatever it might be, just to feel, wow, feel the presence within yourself. Be excited. It's worth being excited about. Your future. In love with it. And then just hopefully with some degree of excitement, doesn't have to be big, but just maybe a touch, a little. And you just bring your presence back here into the room. A little smile on your face, breathing your eyes open, and just appreciating the goodness that we share.